Wow, this is very special. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. It means so much to us to have you gathering with us in Sangha today. The last 2.5 months has been a little challenging for all of us, but having an empty hondo was not very fun. So this is wonderful. Thank you for being brave and coming out. We are very happy to see your little eyes and your masks. So it's a positive step in the direction of normal temple gathering. And thank you to those at home who are tuning in and sharing this time together. If you found our Sunday Live page to get here, the order of service, the Shoshinge, and our Buddhist Center theme song is posted there as well. We will begin with the 3 homages chant, followed by our Shoshinge chant and incense offering. This will be quite different today. For those of us here in person, Reverend Matthew and I made a recording of the chants to share with everyone. So we will all be doing mind chanting. What is mind chanting? We do this to minimize the spread of potentially harmful particles from our breath by chanting in our heads as we internally liberate positive energy. Those at home, please chant your hearts out. You're okay to do that. As we are chanting our Shoshinge, we are thinking about our founder, Shinran Shonin, and he wrote this beautiful poem over 800 years ago. The Shoshinge compresses his experiences and insights in practicing Pure Land Buddhism into one pleasantly long poem. He is certainly with us today. In it, we realize these principles that guide our lives. He wanted us to know that this is more than just a simple journey from cradle to grave. It's a long, unbroken thread of life which extends deep into the past. We are responsible for helping to extend that thread into the future. We will also be offering incense, so everyone is encouraged to come up to this altar or to your home altar and offer incense. Here we will go row by row, and there aren't that many of us, so this will be easy. Starting from the front, and Aaron will help. And just please maintain the 6-foot distancing and think of it as a mindful, slow, meditative walk. For those at home, please offer incense at your home altar, food, water, incense, in deep gratitude. Incense offering is a cleansing of the mind and body before receiving the Dharma. The burning of incense symbolizes transcending selfishness to become one with all. Here on the altar is a Mida Buddha offering boundless wisdom and compassion. Please offer incense with an open heart and deep gratitude to all of your teachers. Namo Laps. Switched. That's another different thing. Too many different things. Buddham Saranam Gacchami Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Sangam Saranam 妙無量寿如来。南無不可思議光法蔵菩薩に寺財政自在応部所東県勝部浄土院国土人間自然幕本流無常修正願長法慶右大偶勢高校士唯士小樹十世幼少文字法不法無量無変更無限無体法縁の少女歓喜知恵法不断難死無償法小日が交渉人生一切分上無交渉本願用語少女語死心信行願人上等学小大涅槃必死滅道願成就如来勝利公修世唯世利他本願会五辱惑自群上会往生如来如実言の本一年喜愛心不乱本の特名藩本性逆法再永流妙種死入海一に聖種信法上昇後異の水波無明湾東内心臓四分無上空心事心人天異尿に幸福無運無資源妙無湾逆心謙虚大狂気即応超勢合惑衆一切全幕本軍人門心如来無勢願運言広大小芸者全員用踏んだりけリーダー部本元年部邪変表な学習上信行十字人に南州市南昔インド最天使論へ中華自治域史構想現代小構成小位妙如来本税大き釈迦如来如来戦一種如来天軸流樹大事修道生執能在魔運無限先世大乗無常法召喚義事小和なく賢治難行六六信行異行四行楽億年二打部本願自念即自入上唯の上昇如来を応報大悲偶勢音天神菩薩増論世金曜無限本如来永州他天神寺後世の超大誓願こういう本願力栄光異道群上小維新金入空毒大崩壊筆脈入大永州宗特使蓮華造世界総称信用法昇進有本の人間人図入賞自音自用芸本自動乱両天使上皇乱上菩薩来三蔵有志十上教本性専用気楽法天神菩薩音中芸法要因果天聖願大願にこういう他力少女死因有信人惑前本部信人法承知承知即名藩一心無量公用道小宇宙上開復慶同社継承如難承運用上活入万全自力変言宗円満特合感染症三風三神慶音言増魔法明道義因異生増
悪地偶税思案明解消明解全道六妙正義公愛上三両逆悪公明明の家二年海流本願大地界両者小樹混合心狂気一年総合両位大東逆三人即所法書市上楽現鎮公開一大教返帰安養可二祭先祖終身反戦人法慶二道小弁流66人類勝負化薬剤非正集中煩悩証言水不見大義無権上昇が本次元空行仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教書公編集戦弱本願具惑星現代生寺院伝芸形式以上以小子即入弱上無意楽一子信心に納入仏教大義修士と上妻無念極弱悪王族自主良心唯過信し
ナ Well, good morning. It's so wonderful to have our wonderful Honda open again and to see you here. Today's reading is from the Magga Vibhanga Sutra, an analysis of the path. And thus I have heard. At one time the Buddha was staying in Savatthi at the grove given by Prince Jeta, in the monastery built for the Sangha by Anatta Pandika. And there the Buddha addressed the students, saying, I will teach and analyze for you the noble Eightfold Path. Listen and pay close attention to my words. And they responded, thank you, teacher. And so the Buddha began, now, what is the noble Eightfold Path? It is right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right quietude. And what is right understanding? Knowledge with regard to joyful life, the cause of joyless living, and the stopping of the cause. The eightfold way of living, which leads to the flowering of joyful life. This is called right understanding. And what is right thought? Clearly setting the thoughts on letting go, on kindness, on harmlessness. This is called right thought. And right speech, speaking truth, using words that bring harmony to the conflicted, compassionate words, and avoiding idle chatter. This is called right thought. And right action, sustaining life, receiving only what is given and avoiding indulgence. This is right action. And right livelihood, abandoning dishonest livelihood, sustaining life by engaging in wholesome work. This is right livelihood. And what is right effort? Generating aspiration, endeavor, activating persistence, upholding and exerting yourself for the arising of good and wholesome qualities is right effort. And what, students, is right mindfulness? Awareness of the body, of feelings of the mind, mental qualities, and consciousness itself. This is right mindfulness. And what is right quietude? Withdrawing from unskillful mental states, stilling directed thoughts, finding equanimity, abandoning both pleasure and pain, and through all this, listening deeply. This is right quietude. And that is what the Buddha said. And wholly gratified, the students delighted at his words. We will now have a few minutes of meditation accompanied by music. And please sit with peace and quiet, both at home and here.
without knocking my microphone off will be challenging but not impossible. Oh my. I'm fiddling with my little mask. String is pulling on my... For the first time, I was not terrified climbing onto this platform because my favorite emergency room doctor was in the room. And if I did take a header, I'm sure she could set me straight, so I'd be okay. Wow, we're back together today. That's wonderful. Gathering as a Sangha, both here and in the wider streaming world. It's the twofold way that I think things will be for a while. So, we accept and honor everyone's decision to participate as they feel comfortable. Gathering in Hondo today is not without risk, but neither is staying home forever. Each of us decides for ourselves how to navigate the path of practice as we see fit. And after 2 months of being saturated with fearful images and information from the media, it is hard to be in the room without some apprehension. That's natural. It's okay. Please know we are taking every precaution that we could think of to keep us as safe as we can as we gather together. We do have some new people here today, so and I'm sure there's some online. Please know you're welcome at Reno Buddhist Center. We're glad you found us. The Buddha's teaching starts with the Four Noble Truths. These four truths are important insights. They lead to the kind of freedom all of us long for. We recall these truths as beings can live in abiding joy, but they often do not. The cause of this joyless life is wanting things or ideas or situations. If we remove that cause, that constant wanting, joy flows into us. And the way to live without wanting has 8 aspects. The Eightfold Path from the Dharma, from reading. And last time we started to investigate these 8 with right understanding. Today we'll get to right thought, and then right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right quietude. We don't want to think of these as sequential steps. Instead, each fold in the path is an intersupporting element to the others, like the spokes of a wheel. We have Dharma chakra wheel symbols here, and that's the reason for that. For example, today we're focusing on right thought. It's also intersupported by right understanding. Because if we don't have a valid and clear understanding of karma, of anatta, of anicca, changefulness, we can get off track spiritually and off the productive path that the Buddha lays for us. So, with the foundation stones of understanding, then cultivating wholesome thoughts of letting go, of gentleness, and of harmlessness is possible. So these spokes of the wheel of Dharma, each of the 8, is dynamically intersupportive of the others. We are careful to say just right instead of right. The kind of absolutist right-wrong thinking is not a normal Buddhist way. Buddhism is a middle way. The word the Buddha used was samma, and we translate that as just right, as in the comfy chair was just right, not too soft, not too hard. So, have you ever tried to do something just right. Please think of an occasion where that was your intention. I kind of can't resist just actually asking. So does anyone have an instance where you tried to do something just right? George. Good. So coming to the temple today was something you wanted to do just right. Instead of following all the other excuses you could think of why you wouldn't, he found the way to come. So that's wonderful. Any other ideas? Jenny?
I wanted to ask my husband if he was interested in joining me here today, and I didn't want to be too pushy, but I didn't want to not say anything at all. And I was actually mindful about how I was going to say.
Wonderful. That's a great example because when you invite someone to go to a religious place with you, you want to be sensitive to whether or not they really want to, but if you don't offer at all, then that seems kind of standoffish. So that takes understanding and disciplined action of body, speech, and mind. It takes effort and mindfulness, even the clarity of a quiet moment, maybe to think about it before you make the offer. So I'm kind of doing a thing here. See, I'm using all the Eightfold paths the parts of the Eightfold Path in this just right action. So, thank you. Just right thoughts are thoughts of letting go, of kindness, and of harmlessness. Really wise, compassionate thoughts. This Pali word, samasankappa, is right thought. Also can mean skillful aspiration, motivation, or intention. We say thought because all of these start with a thought. When we start from wholesome motivations, when our thoughts are in line with our values, that's kind of the sweet spot where we know it's a just right thought. That's an easy way to kind of test a thought out. Samasankappa, just right thinking, is clear and open with dynamic mental qualities of intention, of attitude, even aspiration. These are wholesome thoughts that raise us up. We often use the word wholesome. Old-time books and things use the word virtue or righteousness. That's a particularly laden word for some people. I know Reverend Shelley always cringes when you're reading a book and it says righteousness. I'm like, well, look, you just mentally replace that with wholesomeness. But we use the word wholesome very intentionally. Wholesome thoughts are those that see the true nature of reality as one whole. A wholeness is not a scrambled mess of different self-existent things with kind of adversarial contention. A whole is one seamless expanse of being itself. Being and time and space and consciousness woven into this great moment. Think about that. In the sutra, we heard the Buddha describe just right thoughts as those that foster letting go, kindness, and gentleness. Letting go is so very important to the joyful life. When we cling, when we don't let go, that means we're clinging. When we cling, we're trapped. I don't know if you've ever seen a South Asian monkey trap, but I studied in Sri Lanka, and they have a coconut, and they hollow out the hard coconut, and they put a little piece of fruit in it. And the monkeys come, and this is actually how they collect research monkeys in Sri Lanka. And the monkey reaches in, puts his hand in like that. They're smart like us, they know they can. And then he grabs the piece of banana or whatever, but now he can't get his hand out. And the hunter, or whatever collector of monkeys is called, can come right up to him and put a bag over him And I think they just cut the coconut off and leave it in the bag with the monkey because those monkeys can bite. But point being, just like us, that grasping holds the monkey there to the point of losing its freedom. But he can't let go because he wants that banana so much. We are like that with all kinds of everything. Our grasping itself is what binds us to unpleasant experiences. When we cultivate thoughts of releasing difficult feelings, of letting go of expectations, of letting go of wanting, then the joyful life can flower. How do we cultivate thoughts of letting go? Mindfulness is a help here. Being aware of what we are wanting when we grasp and cling in our thoughts. Awareness is our first step. Control flows from awareness. Aware of the wanting, we can consciously at first, and then by habit later, release that grip and experience freedom. We can be one of those little monkeys and just go up into the trees and run away. You can tell I was kind of fascinated with the monkeys in Sri Lanka, but that's the thing. Also, temples always have fruit and offerings, and the monkeys find out about that, and so they're always around. We're all now faced with a new wave of unknowns in life. Our lockdown situation has eased or maybe changed, but what does that really mean? With just right thought, we can contemplate that question. What do you want it to mean? I know I want it to mean everything just goes back the way it was in early March. You know, that's what I want. But that's not realistic. I can unfortunately guarantee that that will not happen. It cannot. Instead, we will live life onward into unknown experience. This is uncomfortable because we grasp after certainty. When we decided to have this gathering and welcome members into the Hondo for today's service, we wanted to be sure that it was the right thing to do, that it would not create dangers. We need to do our best and let go of the delusion of control. And the Buddha recommends just right thoughts of kindness. What does kindness mean? At first, we think it's obvious. It means not being mean, right? Sure. But what kind does kindness refer to? When you and I are of a kind, that means we're joined by some common bond. When you are within my group, you are our kind of people, or you are us. So, the Buddha saw how we draw those circles around ourselves, and he encourages us to expand that circle. He taught that we can use thoughts of kindness to include others, rather than thoughts that separate into us and them. What would the world be like if we expanded that circle? What if your circle of kindness included everyone? There would be no one that you could be unkind to. That'd be cool. Our heart opens in wholesome interconnection with all that is, was, or will be. To see what the Buddha meant by kindness, we open our heart and draw that circle around every sentient being. With this view, all beings are us. There is no them. When we draw the inclusion circle this way, encompassing all, we're able to care for all as though they are our only child, as it says in the sutra. This is how Amida Buddha sees everyone, precious and important. Loving kindness comes from our thoughts, an attitude where there is no other. We are of a kind, you and I. The bird and the ant and the guy who lives in, I don't know, Kazakhstan, all beings, and even far beyond our little blue ball floating in space. It's all us. And the Buddha teaches his students to foster just right thoughts of gentleness, not harming. Ahimsa is the Pali word. It technically means not hitting. I like to say harmlessness, with the weird little pause in there. Meaning, I recognize that by just being in this world, I am going to cause harm. If I cultivate thoughts of harming less, that's good. That's great. That's a wonderful start, or that's a great way to be. This orients the path of my life in a wholesome direction. I may not be harmless, but I am harming less by considering the effects of my actions of body, speech, and mind, the effects those actions have on the world. The Buddha says to his students, just think about it. So he wants us to think about it. If we take the example of today's Sunday service at the temple, we have asked the question, is it safe? We respond to the easing of restrictions on assembly by having our service. It's good to be together, and some people are not able to be here. Some are rightfully fearful of gathering. Recognize that we have not ended the pandemic. We have simply gotten to the end of our rope for staying home. So now we venture out, taking our best precautions and living life. We pursue our spiritual life. Is it safe? No. Nothing is safe. Nothing is without risk. Here is where we apply the just right thought part. Is it not safe to be here? It's a hard question to say. But the risk of becoming ill, or getting in a car wreck on our way over, or having a adverse reaction to the vast supply of cleaning supplies that we've rubbed all over the whole temple, those are all risks. Those balance against the value of listening to the Dharma, of connecting with our Sangha, and of remembering the Buddha. Namu Amida Butsu. That's remembering the Buddha. This is the tricky thing about the middle way. It's dynamic and ever-changing in each context. Just right thoughts are middle way thoughts. We cultivate wholesome thoughts. Those are thoughts that conform to our core values, letting go, kindness, and harming less. And that puts us on the path, the Eightfold Path. Shin Buddhism is more relaxed on purpose. Pushing people to perfect themselves is counterproductive. It makes them weird and unpleasant to be with. So, the Buddha said, and what, students, is right thought? Clearly settling thoughts on letting go, on kindness, and on harmlessness. This is called right thought. Be aware that we are all bombunin, which kind of means goofballs. In fact, we are not well suited to becoming wise. We have to let go that expectation to grow spiritually. We are grateful for the Buddha's teaching, and we gather here to share them. In gratitude, you can rest assured that the wise, compassionate universe is here for you, no matter what. Today, like all days, our human world needs your just right thoughts of kindness and love. Cultivate these thoughts as a precious gift. Let's share the metta prayer together. Just repeat after me. May you be happy. May you be free from harm. May you receive boundless compassion. And may peace and harmony fill your heart. Namandam, namandam, namandam. Thank you so much for being here. It is our custom at this point to share the Reno Buddhist Center theme song, which was selected by Reverend Alicia secretly from the movie How the West Was Won. In the old days, we used to have a recording of Debbie Reynolds singing it. But today, we have a recording of Reverend Shelley, which sounds almost like Debbie Reynolds, Reverend Shelley, and myself, as well as an accompaniment. So, sing along in your mind again, and Maestro, if you would. Away, away, come away with me, where the grass grows wild and the winds blow free. Away, away, come away with me, and I'll build you a home in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land with a hopeful heart and a willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home in the meadow. The stars, oh how bright and far, what a world of blue and eternal love. The stars, oh how bright they'll shine on the home we will build in the meadow. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where a hopeful heart and a willing hand. Come, come, there's a wondrous land where I'll build you a home. Thank you. I will check and see if I have any announcements. We're continuing all our weekly activities that live stream through the week. So chanting is on Tuesday, Dharma Book Group is on Wednesday, Golden Light Meditation is on Thursday, Refuge Recovery is Friday, and RBC Yoga will be Saturday. And the last thing on my list here is that we have a supply of masks at the temple. If you need a mask or you have a group that needs to be supplied with masks, we can help with that. Thank you to the kind people who made them. Well, that ends our service. Thank you so much. I guess my last announcement will be, as you leave the hall, please do not congregate, just kind of filter out one at a time, single file-ish, as though you're in second grade and it's a fire drill. Thank you so much.